Alright guys, it's Arcane. I'm doing my sequel to my last Axton build tutorial, the Legendary Engineer. A lot of people in my YouTube comments have said about, like, what do I do with my build now? A lot of people have asked me for my build, and due to moving around and a few changes in life, I haven't actually had the time to do any tutorials. But believe you me, I worked really hard. If you saw my Digistruct Peak video, I actually beat Digistruct Peak with this build, the exact build that I have currently, with the exact weapons I have. I did it, and that was obviously without the other legendary comms that we have. For example, I'll show you. I do have the Point Man one, the Ranger one, and the Soldier one, but I did not use any of those because I wanted it to be with my Engineer build. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the skills. We'll have a look at what's in here. Wait, I don't need to even do that. I can go into here. It's been a while, I must admit. So, right, we'll look at the trees and we'll see how this is affected. So, the way that I now do it, I've got 10 in Sentry. Obviously, we know that this is the Engineer build, so we want to focus on our turret. And the turret is the main center, the point of this build. Okay, you always need to have the turret out if you want to play like this. So, make sure if you copy this build, it is because you're using the turret. It's not because you want to go in with the best weapons and one hit kill things. That's not how this build is played. So you have 10 in Sentry, thank you to the Legendary Engineer class mod. You then put 5 into Ready, which will obviously help your DPS as if you're playing without your turrets for the time that the cooldown is. Okay, we put 5 into Willing, which is pretty standard. I'll talk about that later when we look at the shields that we use. We have 9 in Able. This is not because health gate. Okay, this isn't really going towards that. Able is very helpful for when the turrets are not supporting you, because if you're low on health, you can run away, you can recover some of that, you can wait for your shield to recharge, it gives you another go. Scorched Earth, obvious. Onslaught. Now, a lot of people have said don't use Onslaught. Onslaught's better put into other things. Well, I would tend to agree with a lot of people. However, Onslaught is very good when you do not have your turrets. And also, Onslaught is activated when your turrets kill someone as well. So, the extra damage boost, yeah, okay, it's a bit subjective to what you want to do, because it's not there all the time. But the movement speed and the gun damage overall is a really big help. It actually boosts you a lot than what you realise to begin with. And then obviously the best one to have, double up, increases your DPS with the turrets tenfold. Very helpful. And also slag enemies. That means that you do not need to use a slag weapon, which helps with your flexibility with your weapon choices. So we'll move over to the other tree. We're going to go for Gunpowder Tree now. The Impact. Obviously, Impact, very good. It increases your gun damage. I got 10 in Impact, thank you to the Engineer class mod. We don't put a lot of points into Gunpowder, but we want to put in enough points so that we can get down to Longbow there. So we put 2 points into Expertise, so then that gives us a little bit of weapon swap speed. Actually makes a huge difference if you put a couple points in there. 5 points in there if you're going to go for the speed and you want to do like a Ranger sort of build. Yeah, that makes sense. But this, as it is, actually helps quite a lot. You'll notice when you're playing that if you're in a tight spot, you need to change your weapon. This is helpful. So we put 3 points into Metal Storm. Metal Storm actually works pretty well with Onslaught. Obviously, because it's another kill skill, it's in tandem. So you would be killing someone, you get the damage boost, you get the fire rate boost, you get the recoil reduction. All in all, it helps you become a lot more powerful. Now, if your turrets are out in play, then that actually helps you a lot too. Then we look at Battlefront, which is probably the best skill for the Engineer. I've got 9 points in there because I wanted 1 point left over for Longbow, which I'll obviously talk about again in a minute. Battlefront, it's nuts. Because this is based around the turret, you put the turrets out, you get Battlefront, you get Impact, and you get Onslaught. The minute you kill someone, you're doing a lot of damage, and it does stack onto each other, which is good. So you're getting all these boosts, so you can therefore deal some mega damage. People that use the Soldier class mod, they do constant high amounts of damage, which is good if you want to do that and not really work on turrets or something else. But for people that use turrets, this is a must-have. That is a big boost for everything. Last point, Longbow turret. Now, if you've looked at my my Digistruct Peak video, the longbow turret's very helpful because you could be at a long distance, the turrets can go in, you can get an early kill with the turrets, you can get all your kill skills straight away. Very, very handy. And the fact that it increases the turret health by 110%, it means the turrets stay out. There's longevity for the turrets. It means that you're spending more time turrets out, and you know, instead of the turrets dying almost instantly, when OP8 the turrets die very, very quickly without longbow. So I suggest that if you're playing this build, longbow straight away. You have to have longbow. We'll move over to survival now. 5 in preparation. Now it works very well with able. It's very helpful. Again, you can't obviously do anything with health gating when it comes to skill, but it's a must-have. Definitely take it over healthy any day, because it's just, healthy does not change anything. If you're gonna get one hit killed, you're gonna get a one hit killed. We'll move on to pressure, which also very, very, very good. Now pressure can obviously be against other skills, like which one was it? Willing, I believe, because the lower you. Oh wait, no, I just messed that one up. I mean, the lower your health, it goes against able, even not willing. The lower your health, obviously, the higher the thing. Now, a lot of people say don't use it if you use an able. I say that if you're low on shield, then you're gonna be low on health. OP8, anything can take your health down very, very quickly. Now, that helps your shield recharge delay and your reload speed. So you get a temporary boost in DPS because you will be firing off more shots, and you get your recharge delay as well, which works with willing, is what I was originally trying to say, but obviously I'm an idiot, so I fucked that one up. But this skill is extremely good, and a lot of people would argue that it's not, but I mean, it's either that or last-ditch effort, or even points in healthy, and really it's a no-brainer when it comes to it. So when we move down, we've got 4 points in quick charge. Now, quick charge works with your shield skills as well, like pressure, willing. And I'll talk a little bit more about why quick charge is actually very helpful in a bit when it comes to the shield choices later that I tell you about. So we'll move on to flank shield. It doesn't really do a lot, but it's beneficial. That extra shield might deflect a few bullets. There you go. It's good. It'll keep your turrets alive that much longer. Maglock can be very glitchy, but it's a turret skill. This is a turret build, so we take Maglock so that it's helpful. Resourceful. Now, obviously, Resourceful is what this build will be built about. We've only got 9 points in there, which is still a huge boost, but we wanted that other point to go into Maglock, so we make that sacrifice so the turrets become that more useful. Maglock works very well with longbow turret. So again, if you've watched my Digistruct Peak video, you'll see that I do use it on walls. I use it on the ceilings, and it does come in handy a hell of a lot because you can get angles on the enemies. We'll move down. Grit, potentially one of his best skills. Just if you ever go down survival tree, grit is amazing. Helps in raid bosses and Digistruct Peak like no end. Very, very good. And then finally, Gemini. Now, Gemini is my favourite skill for the turret because there's 2. And whilst the turret on double up slags, when you have Gemini, it's a lot more efficient. One turret goes, that's the end of it. But with this, you've got 2 turrets to kill. So enemies will more than likely focus on 1 turret to begin with. Whereas this, you've got so much more to work with. Alright, well, that's the build on the whole, which is there for you guys all want to just see it as it's panned out. We'll look at the weapons that I use now. So we'll go into my weapons. I don't actually use the Pimpernel. I think I was messing around with some weapons. What I use generally for it is maybe a White Death. Usually the shock variant. So this is, I think, what I went through the Digistruct Peak video with. So we had the Razor's White Death. That prefix I find is the best one. You might have a different one. It's been a while since I've done it, so I can't exactly remember what the Razres does, so you might want to do it. I think the Razres is the overall damage it does. It's either that or critical. I can't quite remember. Probably the critical, because it says on the weapon card plus 145% critical damage, which is insane. If you hit someone in a critical spot with that, you're going to deal some serious fucking damage. works perfectly with Onslaught and Metal Storm. Although that said, because of the low capacity of sniper rounds, it can run out of ammo very, very quickly, which is why I do carry around with me, if we find it somewhere down here, a sham, which is there. Sham very good for when you're sniping, but otherwise I wouldn't really use the sham. It's just kind of there for a backup for an ammo. The other gun that I use, Twin Hornet. Now, people use, I think a lot of people were using floated Hornets, but I prefer the twin variant. It just deals that much more damage than a floated one. It's one of my favourite weapons in the game. I did actually do for one of the Gearbox Software forums guides on Axton, something for the Twin Hornet. It was on my YouTube channel, and I basically just went around the Washburn firing area, whatever it's called, and I killed a lot of loaders, just showcasing that it can be good without the badass rank stats and without many skills that actually boost it. The third weapon, Slippery Ogre. Now, I'm not actually a big fan of this rifle. It does a lot of damage, but I'd say that when it comes to rifles, my favourite rifle, even though it's not particularly great, is going to be, where is it gone? Oh, I might have put it away. Oh, I don't have one. My favourite one is actually the Sawbar. Oh, there it is. That's actually my favourite rifle. It's not particularly good though. It can be very damaging. However, I would much rather use the Ogre if I'm going to damage some stuff. I just find that the assault rifles don't particularly bode well unless you put some points into skills like, down here. I mean, it does a lot for rifles, the gunpowder tree. But yeah, other than that, I think I just kind of used it in the DigiPeak video for getting rid of the small time enemies and for dealing constant damage when I had the health. Now, the last one that I use is the Rustler's Twister, which very, very good. This gun actually saved me countless times in the DigiPeak video, if you have seen it. A very, very powerful gun. I highly recommend. It doesn't really work well with the build, since it's a Jacob's weapon, and obviously this build is kind of centric on being fast. However, it's absolutely mental. This gun is so damaging, it's unreal. I did use the Butcher. I think I swapped it out when I was against Dukino's mom. It didn't really do much, but the Butcher is very handy because of the little the ammo capacity, goes up and down and whatever. It's interesting to use. But again, I would use Twister over that. Conference Call, which is another gun that I use a lot. I love the Conference Call. I think it's my favourite shotgun. However, again, Twister, more damage. I have a Flakka. I'm crap with it. But for those of you that have mastered the Flakka, this gun potentially does a lot of damage on Axton as well. Right, I think that's that for my guns there. Right, shield, antagonist. Now, this is the shield that I would always use. No questions asked. If you want to use a shield, you use an antagonist. Right. And I say an antagonist because it does damage reduction and the deflection. Now, that's the only real reason I use it. The slag homing balls are helpful, but that's not why I use it. It's just the fact that it can deflect bullets. And now that damage can do you some justice. It actually helps a lot. Now, when it comes to the shield skills and stuff like that, the antagonist might have a high capacity, but it's not as high as some other shields, like maybe blockade or something. So you wanna really just use those skills so that the antagonist is always there. That's kind of what I do. If you see in the video, I do swap my shield a few times. In fact, I swap it to the B. The B is very handy, but dies very quickly. Here it is. I think I used it against Dukino's mum because Dukino's mum bit tanky, so I just wanted to get rid of it. I do have evolution. This is one of my favourite shields, and I do swap to the evolution on some other characters. I think I used it on my Zero. I can't quite remember, but it comes in handy quite a lot. I do like the evolution. There's the blockade. The blockade's damage resistance is great. It is very, very good. But I just prefer the antagonist because it does a little bit more. I have the transformer, don't really use it. The Shams already spoke about the B. I have a Love Thumper just because I don't really use the Love Thumper. I don't recommend using the Love Thumper for this kind of build either. Right, so my class mod, obviously, Legendary Engineer class mod. I think this is the max one. I don't think you can get a better one than this. Cooldown rate is the only thing that you need off of this, other than the +5 skills. The cooldown rate goes in with Resourceful. Again, very good. Other than that, there's not really much to say about this. I do carry some other class mods. If we go back up, I carry the Point Man, the Ranger, the Soldier, and I did pick up a Chaotic Evil Ranger. I was recommended that this was quite a good one. I haven't really tried it out, but I mean, +6 in grit, you're looking at surviving quite a lot. I might mess around with it, try and make a build with that. But again, that's a pretty good class mod in itself. We'll talk about my Relic. I only use Bone of the Ancients, just for the cooldown rate, because you want to focus on getting your turrets out again and again and again and again. And this helps a lot. Now, I use a shock damage variant, but really it's up to you. Since this isn't a build based on any type of gun specifically, shock's great. I do obviously use Russ's Twister, which is always shock, and then the shock Raspberry White Death helps a lot. Grenades. People use Magic Missile for slagging. I don't really use the Magic Missile a lot. I think I used it in the Digistruct Peak video, but that's obviously because I needed the slag more and more. Usually you'll see me running around with a Stormfront. Now, instead of the Stormfront, I do have 5e, Fastball, Quasar, bonus package, Fastball again, which just corrosive. I've got the Magic Missile there. This obviously regenerates the grenade ammo, so even if you don't like the Magic Missile, take one, because when you're up against raid bosses, you can just swap to Magic Missile, wait for your grenades to regen, and then swap it back to something else. I don't really use Fastballs because they're good for raid bosses, but yeah. Other than that, you'll probably see me pissing around with a Quasar, but Stormfront's my favourite grenade. It fits in fashion with what I do with Axton. It's very, very high powered as well, plus it's boosted bomb with Shock Relic. So that's kind of the weapons walkthrough, talking to you about what I do with the weapons. There will be some gameplay on my channel if you wish to look at this build. I don't think there's much else I can tell you about other than that. So yeah, I hope this helps, and if you copy my build and you find it worthwhile, just leave a comment in the comment section of this video, and if you've got any advice for me of how I can improve this or what I can do with my weapons, then feel free to tell me. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.